So for this video, I'm going to show you how to create a control icon, like for the character, the one that goes around the base of the feet. Before you can do that, like it's because I'm using text, you can go to Windows, Setting Preferences, Plugin Manager, and you want to make sure you have the type bundle. So you can just search for type up here and find this type bundle. Make sure that's loaded, otherwise you can't use text. Under create type, you'll see them, they'll be grayed out, but you won't be able to use it unless you load the plugin. So if I create type, you get a 3D 3D type here, and if you go into the tab that says type 1, you'll see that there's 3D type here. So here is where you can label your character's name. I think it's a good idea to center this, and you want to probably take off the 3D because you don't need 3D for the type. You usually just want curves. So if you come down to enable extrusion, you'll see that it's flat at this point. You can adjust the kerning and the tracking as well, and here under text you've got that ability here for adjusting how close and how far apart they are, right? You get that with the kerning as well, and leading would be as if you have multiple lines, or you can just leave it as is, that's fine. You can change the type of the font up here, so if you want something more calligraphic or whatever, you can change that here. Well, that's kind of fun. Let's leave it there. And then you can also come in here and add a nonlinear. So if you go to deform nonlinear bend, and then of course you'll have to rotate this over here in the channel. So rotate Z to 90, so that it's with the direction. And depending on where you are, you can move this up or down also to see how you like it. But if I come to the bend curvature here, right, I can see how this is responding. It's usually like 100 is pretty good. You may not want it that curved, but you can adjust where you want that to actually occur. And then of course you probably want to group all of this and rotate this group -90 in X so that it lays flat, because that's the whole point. We want this at the character's feet. You can add in a curve, a circle, no, not a square, I hit the wrong thing. Create NURB circle and scale that up, because that will be what's actually at the base. And until you hit delete history, you could go back and adjust all of this. Once you get the circle in there, if you don't like it, you can change the font size, which would be here, right? So you may decide you want something smaller than what was given there. And I recommend you just play along with the size of what you're working with, and then you can scale all of this down later. Once you have something that you like, you want to convert this text. If we go back over into the type mesh, type 1 tab, geometry tab, you want to create curves from type, which then drops this here, and you've got all of those curves. So at that point we don't need this group anymore, and you're left with a NURB circle and these curves. But it, just to make sure, because each one of these, you want to make sure that you freeze your transformations on all of this, just so that you have everything zeroed out. And then we're going to take all of these, let's display our shapes. you want the shape node. So if you select them from here and then down arrow, you'll notice that all the shape nodes are now selected. And then the last thing you want is the circle itself. And you're going to type in parent r-r-s. And so that takes all of those curves and makes it part of the shape node of the circle. And then you can delete the other one. And you're left with whatever your name is here, character Adam, right? And again, you can scale this now, or you can bring it into your character file. Just make sure you freeze transformations on it once you've done that. So you can then save this out and use it in the future. But just to let you know, I have created a file that has most of that done for you. If you go into the icons folder that I just sent, and you'll notice that I have all of this here. Oops, that's not the one. Let me open up. It's called allanim_name. So you'll see I have the scale position group and then the type mesh and all that. So you could just start with this and then adjust it because all the history is still here. But you will have to combine the font curves once you've made them into the scale position group, which is the last thing that I've done. All right, hope that helps.